The first and most noticeable difference between our culture and the Japanese is language. Here is a video that will teach you how to introduce yourself in Japanese.
はじめまして、私はひろこです。よろしくお願いします。I'm Hiroko. I'm pleased to meet you. I just introduced myself in Japanese. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Japanese. There are 3 sentences to do this, and it's super easy. And you're going to learn them all right now. So in just 3 minutes, you'll be able to introduce yourself in Japanese. Okay, here's the 3 lines. はじめまして Nice to meet you. 私は Stick your name here です。私はひろこです。And よろしくお願いします。First we have はじめまして Nice to meet you. はじめましてはじめまして This expression means nice to meet you. はじめまして literally means for the first time. This phrase is often the first thing said when introducing oneself and appropriate for all politeness levels. Next we have 私はひろこです。I'm Hiroko. Now, Japanese has one tricky point. The verb comes at the end of the sentence. So, 私, I, 私は, my name is Hiroko, so I put Hiroko. です, am. I, Hiroko, am. 私はひろこです。I'm Hiroko. So if your name is Mike, you put Mike. 私は Mike です。Finally, we have the copula. Don't be scared. It's kind of like an English to be. And finally, we have よろしくお願いします。It's pleasure to meet you or pleased to meet you. よろしく、よろしく、よろしく。お願い、お願い、お願い。します、します、します。よろしくお願いします。This phrase is contextual and gets its meaning depending on the situation. This literally means, please be good to me. It is the commonly used expression which corresponds to, it's a pleasure to meet you. You can often hear these phrases while somebody is bowing. よろしくお願いします。
Of course, a big difference between Japan and us is currency. 100 yen is equal to $1 of ours. Here's a video showing the difference of currency.
So this is 1 yen or 1 yen. Next one is 5, so 5 yen, 5 yen. Then 10 yen, 10 yen. 50 yen, 50 yen, which is 50. 100 yen, 100 yen, which is 100. And 500 yen, 500 yen, which is 500 yen. Okay, so 1 yen dama, 5 yen dama, 10 yen dama, 50 yen dama, 100 yen dama, and 500 yen dama. Okay, now that we've covered all the coins in Japanese currency, let's move on to the bills. Here we go. Alright, so the first type of bill in the Japanese currency is this one, the 1,000 yen bill. To say 1,000, 1,000 is sen, sen. So this is the sen and satsu. Satsu means bill, satsu. So 1000 yen satsu, sen and satsu are the 1,000 yen bill. This is the back side of it, just to show you. Alright, next up is the gosen and satsu. Gosen and satsu. Just like when we said 50 and 500, All you have to do is put 5 and 1,000 together to get 5,000. So you say gosen yen satsu, gosen en satsu, or the 5,000 yen bill. Show you the other side. And little trivia, there's actually one in between, the 2,000 yen bill, but that's actually rare, and it's sort of like the $2 bill that is in America, but you don't see very often. So this is the gosen yen, or 5,000 yen bill. Alright, and here we are at the last one, the biggest currency of all. This is the 10,000 yen bill, or in Japanese, 10,000. There's actually a actual word for 10,000, which is man. So this is, we say 10,000, so you say ichiman yen satsu. Ichiman yen satsu, or 10,000 yen bill. 10,000 yen bill. Ichiman en satsu. Alright, show you the other side. So again, this is the biggest type of Japanese currency there is, sort of like the $100 bill. Alright guys, so that is everything for this section. That is all the Japanese types of currency in the world of Japanese currency.
The first and most well-known tradition of Japan is geisha.
The chance to gaze into the world of the geisha was once only possible for Japan's elite. After all, learning the subtle craft takes years of careful, detailed study that in the end transforms a woman into a work of art. The more privileged clientele willing to pay for her time, the greater a geisha status. And for centuries, that's the way it was, with customers having to come to traditional tea houses in neighborhoods like this one in Kyoto. But tough financial times in Japan have reached the doorstep of this once secretive society. And so some are having to look further afield for business. On a rooftop beer garden of a hotel, tourists can now dine in the company of a maiko, a geisha in her first years of training. And where patrons once paid thousands, here the cost including dinner is just $40.
I never knew this place had a real-life geisha. When I saw her, my heart beat so quickly. This opportunity is really rare. The beer tastes even better now.
The popularity has convinced more than a dozen beer gardens in Kyoto to hire the Japanese hostesses. But the more conservative ranks say mingling with the masses is no place for women of such pedigree. 17-year-old Chikayoshi, who spends her days learning the ancient art and nights in the beer garden, says it's a matter of survival. From a peak of 80,000 geishas in the early 1900s, today the ranks number less than 1,000.
Keeping tradition is very important, but we used to be too out of reach for the common person. We should be more approachable.
Beer garden owners see themselves as helping to revive interest in a fast disappearing part of Japanese life.
These days, there are far fewer wealthy men of the past generation, which means many tea houses are going bankrupt. This is a beginner step for new customers, giving them their first peek into a different culture.
A different culture that after so many centuries is no longer hidden from the outside world. Steve Chow, Al Jazeera, Kyoto, Japan.
Tea ceremonies, also known as Seido, or the way of tea, today commonly is just a hobby that people engage in at cultural events or tea houses. They used to be something that was really respectable and taught through all children, but mainly it's just a formal manner in which one serves the tea and another person partakes of it. Public baths originated from a lack of personal bathtubs back in the day, but nowadays they're used to just bathe and hang out with your friends or neighbors and just enjoy time. You can go to a bathhouse in American dollars from anywhere from $20 to $200 depending on them. But you must remember bathhouses are different from onsen baths, which are hot springs. Bathhouses use tap water in an enclosed space, whereas hot springs are outside and use natural waterfalls. Sumo wrestling is a Japanese style of wrestling originated as entertainment for the Shindo gods. Nowadays, sumo wrestling has at least 6 tournaments a year, which last 15 days each. Typically, all sumo wrestlers live together in what is called a stable with their stable masters, who are their coaches, where they eat, live, and breathe sumo.
The 3 most popular religions in Japan is Shintoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Also, Japan is known for having many temples.
Another slight difference in the Japanese and American culture is their social classes. In America, we have social classes ranging from dirt poor to filthy rich. However, in Japan, they have less of a variation. The only real social class in Japan is the imperial family. Aside from that, you have upper class and middle class. The reason for this being is Japan is such a expensive place to live in, there's really no room to be poor. Also, they don't have many poor immigrants because of their tight immigration laws.
Living conditions. It can be very expensive to live in Japan. It costs between 83,000 to 100,000 yen a month. Part-time work is 800 to 1,000 yen an hour.
Okay, right now we're going to take a tour of this very beautiful traditional Japanese home. We're going to start here in the entranceway. This is called a genkan. And like every good Japanese home, the first thing you want to do is take off your shoes. We're going to go ahead and stick it in our little locker here. Grab a key. And here we go. Ojama shimasu. So, let's see. Here's a nice little layout of the mansion. And we'll start here to the right. This is a Western style room. So you can see it has carpet, some wood paneling, curtains. So not every home could have a Western style room in it. Can't go this way though, only for staff, but it looks cool. So obviously this was built by a very rich family, and maybe that's where they kept their money. And you can see this is a Japanese style room with the tatami floors and the paper screen doors. So this entranceway has some wood floors, but it's probably part of the remodel. We're going to go ahead and follow the arrows. So a mix of wood floors and tatami floors. And over here we can see some really beautiful sliding doors. I wonder if these are original. Maybe. And over here we have one of the many bathrooms. Once again, part of that is remodeled. Now the hallways in Japanese homes, they're usually on the outside of the house. And this hallway here opens up to a very beautiful Japanese garden. And as you can see with these sliding doors here, if you were, let's say, staying in this room, you could just slide open the doors and this would be your view, a view of the beautiful garden. Here's another view of the garden. So this home is called the Asakura home. Oh, here's a nice big room here. And one of the cool things about having the hallway on the outside, or this opening to the garden, is that you can sit down on the edge of the room there and look out into the garden. We're gonna go upstairs. So like I said, this house is called the Asakura home,
and it was built in 1919. It's located only about 3 minutes away from the Daikanyama train station, and you will not find many traditional Japanese homes, especially of this size, around Tokyo anymore. Mainly there was a big earthquake in the 1920s that destroyed a lot of Tokyo, and then of course there was World War II. So there's very few properties like this that still remain. Once again, you can see the beautiful sliding doors. So we're here on the second floor looking out into the garden. Once again, the hallway on the outside. Now, according to some of the information that I read, the family lived on the bottom floor, or the first ground floor of the house, and the rooms we just saw on the upstairs were just kind of multi-purpose rooms. So here's another room with the walls are a little bit older in this room, and can't go back there, but the kitchen is located somewhere back here, but we're not allowed to see the kitchen. Oh, here we have an indoor garden. I call it indoor because, as you can see, it's surrounded by the house, and this garden has a little pond in it. So let me speed up our tour here. We are coming back around to the other side. Once again, another view of the garden. And this other area I want to show you back here. This room back here is that we can't go into. The wood on the floor there, that opens up to a fire pit, and this is probably the room that they use to have some tea ceremonies. And here's a little wash room, and you can't see it from here, or you can't see the inside. This is as far as I can get, but that's the entrance to a big storeroom. That's where they kept all their treasures. That room is called the kura, or dozo, and it's used because Japanese homes were made out of wood, and every time there was a fire you'd lose all your valuables, but in that room you could keep you could store your family treasures, and in case of fire they wouldn't be destroyed. So there you go. That's the quick tour of this very beautiful Japanese home, and I hope you have a chance to make it someday.
Hi folks, I'm going to show you a quick introduction to a Japanese house. This is one we just moved into today. We're in the Genkan at the moment, which is the front entrance to the house. As you can see as we walk in, a special place here to put your shoes, which is quite nice to have. You can open up the doors here and have a look. You can see in there, it's where you place your shoes, kind of keep them out of the way. Have a look here, this is the entrance here with the Genkan. As you enter the house, first place we come to is probably the most important place, which is the toilet. Quick look in here, it's quite small and quite narrow, but it does the job. There's a toilet. Leading into the bathroom here. Space here for a washing machine, which as you can see we don't have at this stage. A little sink, mirror to get ready in the morning. Typical in Japan is a shower and a bath both together. Normally you have your shower first, wash yourself and hop in the bath. It's a nice deep bath there, which is good. Now we're entering the kitchen. This one's quite big. This house we actually moved into is a 4DK. It's 4 rooms and a dining and kitchen. This is the dining kitchen. As you can see, it's quite big. Leading, here's a sink, kitchen sink, space for a gas range. Something you notice when you first move into a Japanese house, there's not much here. You need to get curtains yourselves. We have no gas range or stove at the moment. No light fixtures, as you can see on the roof there, which we need to get. So they're quite empty, they're quite bare, which is very unusual compared to most other places. Here we have a Japanese style washitsu room. Tatami mat floor, straw mat floors. It's a nice big room here. This house has 2 floors, so we go up the stairs. Now these stairs are quite narrow, but you soon get used to that after a bit of time here in Japan. So we're going up the stairs, kind of wind your way around the staircase. There's 3 rooms up here as well. First room you see is a little Japanese style room here. Not as big as the first one on the first floor. Some more storage space here. It's quite a big space here. And there are 2 bedrooms as well. This is the biggest of the rooms. As you can see, quite empty at the moment, no curtains, nothing. These sliding doors open up as well here, leading into the second room. More storage space here. It's quite big and deep, which is good. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed the tour of our new house. See you.
Transportation. Most countries have air, buses, ferries, and cars. But in Japan, the most popular is their trains or their Shinkansen or the bullet train. Also they walk and ride bikes more than anything. Education. School in Japan starts their school year in April and ends in March of the following year. The education established is ages 6 to 12 is 1 through 6th grade from elementary school. Ages 13 to 15 is 1 through 3 grade for junior high. And 16 to 18 is 1 through 3 grades high school. At home, students are working with drills and other homework in order for them to be busy. Japanese spend 240 days a year at school, which is 60 more than the Americans. Students go on vacation just for 10 weeks a year, like 6 weeks in summer, 2 weeks in winter, and 2 weeks in spring.
Traveling in Japan has made me feel like a small child so many times, and I was curious to see what their experience was like in this country. Yukiko is a fairly typical 8-year-old girl. She practices piano between 1 and 2 hours a day, a very rigorous schedule. I was curious what a day in her life was like, so I went with her to school. Yukiko is in the 3rd grade. They wear uniforms. These are the uniforms that they have for outdoor activities and recreation. I was able to watch a gym class where they were beating a drum and doing all kinds of very elaborate gymnastics, practicing for a program for the parents. I snuck a peek in the library, which looks like a library at any school anywhere else in the world. They even had manga or anime comic books, but they were educational. This is a history book, the history of Japan. They had a book about American school children. The complexity of Japanese writing means that reading and writing are important parts of a young child's education in Japan. I stumbled upon this calligraphy class where the students were learning to draw the character for big or great. Afterwards, they all clean up themselves. Yeah, they're using black ink, which is a nightmare for most teachers, I think. But the children cleaned up their spills all by themselves. Japanese children clean their own classrooms. There are no janitors in the school. Order is very important, and there's a place for everything. These are bags for the students' slippers, and then in the bathroom they have separate slippers, and they're actually graded on how straight they align the slippers. The students do their own traffic patrol to and from the school. Leadership is very important. Every day there's a class leader that directs the class. In this 6th grade class, students were composing waka, which are poems of 31 syllables. Every student had done his or her homework the night before, and they copied out their poems onto these blue pieces of paper, which the teacher then collected and posted anonymously. Each student was given a number so that nobody knew whose poem belonged to whom. The teacher then read out each poem to the class, and the students were allowed to vote on the ones that they liked. In addition to voting, students were allowed to give speeches in favor of the poems that they liked the most. In the end, it was this boy whose poem was considered the best, and afterwards, the class was formally dismissed again by the appointed class leader. They thanked the teacher for the lesson. Now it was lunchtime, and everyone participated. The food is cooked in the central kitchen and delivered to the school, but it's the students themselves who serve the food. They eat in their own classrooms, they rearrange the desks themselves, and everyone has a job. Some students were passing out milk, others were putting out the dishes, some were serving, making sure that everyone had an equal portion. These boys were handing out Jell-O. What was amazing for me to watch was that 1 minute this was a normal classroom, everyone was sitting down having a Japanese lesson, and in less than 8 minutes it became a cafeteria and everyone sitting down for lunch. The mood at lunch was very social, like a school cafeteria anywhere else in the world. Kids were having a good time. The food was different. We had udon noodles and tempura, which is very Japanese. But the kids were relaxed and playing, having a good time. After lunch, the children cleaned up everything themselves. They washed the dishes. They separated the trash for recycling. Then they all head into the hallway where they brush their teeth. What's most amazing is the students grade themselves on their daily performance. They give themselves grades on their attitude, on their dress, their appearance. But even with all of this discipline, they were just kids and they were having a lot of fun.
In Japan, holidays and festivals are very important and very popular. There is either one of those once or twice every single month. Here's a video to show you the different and popular holidays and festivals.
Konnichiwa, Konomi desu. Today I'm going to introduce to you some Japanese holidays. First of all, New Year's on January 1st is the biggest holiday in Japan. So know this phrase. 明けましておめでとうございます。Happy New Year! 明けましておめでとうございます。今年もよろしくお願いします。I hope to have a good relationship with you again this year. 今年もよろしくお願いします。So this is a set phrase. 明けましておめでとうございます。今年もよろしくお願いします。Then, in February and March, we have Valentine's Day and White Day. On Valentine's Day, Valentine Day, girls give gifts to guys. And on White Day, which is on March 14th, White Day, guys give gifts to the girls. Also, on February 3rd, we have Setsubun. Setsubun is the day before the beginning of spring, and there's a special ritual to cleanse away the evil from the former year by throwing roasted soybeans and yelling out, Oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi. Devil's out, luck in. Oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi. On March 3rd, there's Hinamatsuri, to wish girls well-being by displaying Japanese doll ornaments. In April, it is the Hanami season, where people enjoy the sakura. People gather with friends and family to enjoy the sakura and eat lots of food and drink lots of beer. From the end of April to the beginning of May, there's something called the Golden Week. Golden Week. School is out, people take time off from work. It's sort of like a nationwide vacation week. On May 5th, there is the Children's Day, Kodomo no Hi, to wish boys success by displaying koi-shaped windsocks called koi nobori. It's a very colorful holiday. In June, it's the rainy season and it's not very festive. On July 7th, there is Tanabata, the Japanese Star Festival. It celebrates the meeting of Orihime and Hikoboshi, represented by the stars Vega and Altair, which were separated by the Milky Way, but are allowed to meet only once a year on this day. People write wishes and tie them on to bamboo trees. In August, there's Obon. During Obon, the spirits of ancestors are honored. People go back home to have family reunions and clean their ancestors' graves. In September, there's Tsukimi, where people enjoy the autumn full moon. Some of the traditions of Tsukimi include displaying Japanese grass called Susuki and having Japanese rice dumplings called dango. In November, there's Shichigo-san. This is a rite of passage for children that are 3, 5, and 7 years old. It is a celebration for girls that are 3 and 7 years old and boys who are 5 and 7 years old. In December, there's of course Christmas, which isn't a traditional Japanese holiday, but is very festive during this time of the season. It's a big couple's day in Japan, somewhat similar to a Valentine's Day in the States. Merry Christmas is Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. At the end of the year, people say to each other, have a good rest of the year. Yoi otoshi wo. Yoi otoshi wo. So remember these holidays so you can enjoy festivals in Japan. 次回もお楽しみに。またね。
Food. The staples of their food are rice and noodles. They also have several main dishes along with the staple. Rice is served in a chawan or small rice bowl, and each item is placed on a sara, or a small plate, or a hachi bowl for each individual portion. Traditional Japanese food is flavored using a combination of dashi, soy sauce, sake, and mirin, vinegar, sugar, and salt. After a main dish has been completed in cooking, there are some spices added like minced ginger and various herbs added as a garnish. There are 3 cooking techniques applied of the 3 akuzu: raw or sashimi, grilled, simmered, or boiled, steamed, deep fried, vinegared, or dressed.
Alright guys, I found it. No, these are normal vending machines, but behind me is the banana vending machine, right here. My Dole vending machine. Check it out. It is the Hobby Banana Dole Japanese vending machine. I remember this making the news. Here we are. Each one is 130 yen. Wow, this is my first time ever seeing this one actually live in person. Again, this is Shibuya in the gourmet town around the station area. Alrighty then, let's buy a banana, I guess. Here we go. Perfect, because I haven't had breakfast yet. Alright, let's get one of the top ones, I guess. I'll get number 3. So I put 3 in, and here we go. Oh, it's all nice like this. Yeah. Oh, it's all refrigerated and nice in here. And here we are. A Dole banana from a vending machine. Behind me is a gigantic multi-vending machine. As you can see, it says drink, food, and book. So if we go around, this side there's a actual book vending machine right here.
Yes. Hello everyone. I know that most of you are interested in how much does this cost to live in Japan, and maybe that residence is available in the internet, but you must be interested in the food. So today I'd like to share the food price. Oh, it was so heavy. I just bought these things, so let me share from now. Okay, so let's put these. Here we go. Banana, $1. Potato, $2. Potato in Japanese is jagaimo. Broccoli from United States, $1. Mushroom called eringi, $0.7. And green pepper, Japanese green pepper, 0.7. And next, stray cucumber. Cucumber is cutie, $1. Half cabbage, $1. And next thing, 2 carrot and 2 onion. All of these 1.2. And meat. This is pork. 219 gram is 284 yen. Dried fish, each one 100 yen. I'm sorry, $1. Winter sausage, $2.5. And the bread, $1.5. So, how do you feel? Isn't it not that expensive that you have imagined before? Now you can remove the one anticipation living cost in Japan, especially for food. And I'm just curious whether you find a very unique vegetable to Japanese. For example, the 2-sen cucumber, 2-sen green pepper. So if you could compare the shape of the vegetable, or please compare the price of your country and tell me whether Japanese price is cheap or not. So thanks for watching. I have to cook from now on. So see you, bye.
Take 1. On the road, you will hit by someone. Start. すいません。大丈夫ですか？大丈夫です。大丈夫ですか？すいません。大丈夫です。
In Japan, they have a large variety of many different types of fashion. For instance, they have street fashion, ancient Japanese fashion, ganguro, kimono, historical evolution, lolita, and cosplay. On the streets of Japan, you can see anywhere from a typical teenager wearing their school uniform or a jeans or a t-shirt to something more extravagant such as lolita. Or you might even see somebody walking in a huge costume. Some of the more famous types of fashion that Japan is known for are their kimonos, which are mainly used for special occasions such as weddings and graduation ceremonies or festivals. Also, there is Lolita, which is a fashion sense based around ancient European fashion that goes anywhere from baby doll Lolita, which is typically all pink and covered in desserts, to Gothic Lolita, which can be more dark and manly.
Entertainment. The first form of entertainment we'll be talking about today is music. When it comes down to it, there really isn't many differences. They have pop, hip-hop, rock, metal, same as us. But then there is also the traditional Japanese music. One popular traditional Japanese music is minyon folk music, such as this. Another very popular form of entertainment in Japan is anime and manga. It's also one of the more popular ones here when it comes to the Japanese culture, such as Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and so forth. Anime is Japanese animation, kind of similar to the way that we have cartoons, except it can range from any genre to any ages, from very young to X-rated. But let's not go over that. Another very popular form of entertainment in Japan is Japanese dramas, also known as dromas. It is essentially the same as any soap opera we would have, except sometimes they're a little bit more over the top, if you can believe it.